let me see what you got there. Let's kind of show it up so we can talk a little bit about the technology itself. There's the box.
It comes in a nice little box. It's
Yeah.
a metal casing. It was always my dream as a kid to get my toys in like a 007 suitcase. So I figured the dream with the drone.
Right.
So you get in this case, you get a metal suitcase carrying case, which is nice because your drone doesn't get damaged when you're moving it around. Inside, you also get extra propellers, the instruction manual, the charging cable, and you even get like different joysticks. We gave different options. We know people who usually fly these are gamers, a lot of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
we got like stick sizes, and then we have also the rounds as well.
Oh, okay.
Or more on the Xbox or whatever it may be.
Right.
So it depends how you like to fly. So that all comes in it. What's really different about us and a lot of other RC companies too is that we do the whole educational process with our drone. Meaning we don't leave you high and dry. If something happens to the drone, we sell something called a crash kit online as well. So you get an extra body with your drone, you get 4 extra screws, you get 4 motors,
Right.
and 8 extra sets of propellers. So if something happens, don't worry, we got you covered. We're not going to just say, oh, you got to buy a new drone, you know?
Right. Right.
Get all the
Okay.
extra pieces, and we've even gone together and put together a training center online, which is videos of my partner and I putting together, doing all the fixes, showing you how to change propellers, how to fix motors, troubleshoot your drone,
Right. Right.
whatever it may be. And we even have something called a repair kit, which gives you the soldering iron, magnifying glass, and all the repair pieces that you need for the drone too. So like I said, we're really trying to get into the educational sector with these mini drones and teaching people about the components, the pieces, and why they work so well, right?
Okay. So performance-wise, what does this thing do in terms of endurance? I mean, obviously that's a very small drone. It's going to have a very small battery in it. So
Yeah.
what do you know, what, like 10, 15 minutes of operation or what?
Yeah, so what's really nice is that the charge time on this drone is only 15 minutes.
Okay.
15 minutes to charge, and then you're going to get a 15 to 20 minute flight time, actually,
Okay.
which is really nice. You don't see that in a lot of the nano drones, and that's where we're different in the market. We're actually known for having a battery that lasts a bit longer, and we were able to do that by optimizing the software. So just by controlling everything a little bit better than the other nano drones in the market, using the power for the motors better, we're able to get longer times of longer flight times.
Okay.
So you get about 15, 20 minutes of flight. And why I say that is because there's 2 speeds on this drone. You got 1 speed for indoor, 2nd speed for outdoor. So obviously depending on wind conditions too, I mean, if you're fighting the wind a lot, then, you know, you're killing the battery a little bit more, you're putting a little bit more pressure. But that's what's really nice about them is like not a long charge time, long flight times, right? A lot of the RC helicopters, I mean, you charge for 4 hours, you fly for 5, you know? So
Yeah.
So it was really nice for that. So people really get the chance to go out and fly, and you know, especially the kids, you know, they're very impatient with stuff like that. You know, they can't wait 4 hours to fly again. So 15
Right.
minutes is a pretty reasonable time.
Right.
And a lot of people are buying power banks with it, right? So you buy a power bank, plug it in, you could charge. 15 minutes later, you're flying again. So that's as far as the charge time goes, which is really nice. What we've changed in the materials as well is try and get a little bit closer. Is most of the time, what's the biggest problem with RCs? The propellers. You hit a wall, the propeller shatters. It's broken.
Right.
So we've made propellers which can bend.
Oh, okay.
So you could flex them, you could hit walls, you could do whatever you want, and you just bend it back and it's fine. So
Yeah. Okay.
because it's a small drone and the propellers are not very big, we're able to use a little bit of a more flexible plastic, which still allows the drone to fly very well and basically hit walls, hit cars, hit whatever it may be that you're going to fly into. And at that time, the drone won't actually break. On another note, the body too. A lot of people have asked us, you know, there's another model out there called the Cheerson CX-10, and they're like, it looks very similar, but I'm like, there's a big difference when it comes to the hardware, and it comes to the software, and it comes to the actual mold itself. So the body itself is actually very, very flexible. It's very malleable. If I actually go grab this quickly to show you one of the top shellings of the drones, you could literally bend it in half.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the point of that is, like, let's say you're 80 feet in the air. What I always tell people is, you know, like, fly without the fear of crashing, which is our slogan. So if you're 80 feet in the air and all of a sudden you lose control, you don't know which direction your drone is going in, which is usually how people lose control because they don't know if left is left or right is right once it gets too high, right?
Right.
So basically I just tell people, kill the motor, let it drop.
Yeah.
Let it drop, it'll bounce, it'll get back up. It's like a spring, these things. They fall down, they get back up.
Okay. Now, a lot of these, they will have, I mean, talking about that, the positioning problem, some will have different colored propellers, you know, for the front of the, as opposed to the rear, or they'll have an LED lighting system, you know, blue for one side. Okay. Yep. There you go. All right.
So we actually we do have the red lights in the back and the blue lights in the front. So you could fly at night and helps you during the day as well too. That you see the lights underneath flashing. So that gives you the orientation of the drone. But again, sometimes you're just up high and you just panic because there's a bit of wind and you decide to go with the wind, not against the wind, and then you're flying really quick, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference too when you got 4 blades turning at the same time is, you're going fast when you're going with the wind. Yeah. So the lights definitely help with the orientation. I mean, I love doing it at night. We've done a lot of slow exposures with our cameras and neat videos with that.
Is there any camera built into this or not?
So this one does not have a camera.
Okay.
We actually do have a model in the works with a camera.
Okay.
I do have a couple of demo models that I've been testing with, different camera qualities. Right now, my biggest issue is that once adding a camera, the battery life goes down to 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So to fix that, we're trying to put in a better battery, but the weight is a big factor for these nano drones. But I'm trying to make the bottom so it's unclippable. So you can unclip and put another battery in, unclip, put another battery in. So we're trying to do that. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you're coming to a small drone like this, I mean, cameras are never going to have a high quality.
Right. So
you're not going to get really what you're looking for out of it. But I think, in the near future, we're going to be able to see that. I mean, we do see iPhone 5s with, these crazy megapixel cameras, flashes, everything. So what's stopping it from going into a mini drone like this? Not much. Yeah. Maybe another year.
So I guess another question too is that a lot of the early drones, you actually controlled them with your smartphone.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering as to why you decided to go with the controller as opposed to giving people, a software app that would go on their phone and do that.
Again, when developing the mini drone, weight was a big factor.
Okay.
So when getting into controlling with your phone, you do need to integrate a whole type of Wi-Fi system, so the drone can connect via Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So again, that adds components to the pieces, which are quite large, an extra antenna, stuff like that. And obviously distance is a problem. When you have a smaller drone, you don't have larger antennas, larger coils. So that's why we didn't really go with the iPhone itself. We also thought this is a great beginner drone, meaning it's going to be a lot of kids flying it. It's going to be a lot of younger people starting to get into the industry flying it. So we figured, the gaming remote is going to give people the feel that they already know. I always get surprised when I'm at markets and a 6-year-old comes up and grabs the remote and flies it perfectly.
Yeah.
Because he's just played Xbox.
He's used to it. Yeah.
So used to the joystick control, right?
Right.
And that's what the whole drone industry is talking about. How all these gamers are getting jobs in the military and this and that because they're just so used to it already.
For good or evil, I don't know.
For good or evil, that's not the discussion I'd like to get in right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you see the video where the guy took looked like a Glock and connected it to his drone and was actually literally thing flying and he was shooting. You could see it recoil, then it'd fly back and he'd shoot again. And you're thinking, oh God, this is like the guys that are using 3D printing to print
guns,
undetectable guns. I mean, there's, I'm excited about the technology, but I worry about people being irresponsible about how they use it,
Well, and like I said, that's why our focus as a company is really the drone education. Getting to the kids now is the most important because, they're the ones who are going to control all this one day, right? Yeah. So getting into the middle schools, getting to the elementary schools and, educating about why they're dangerous and, how they're going to be used in the future, all that type of stuff is very important. Again, as kids or as any even adult in drones, people always like to push limitations, right? So any technology you're going to get into, people are just going to push those limits all the time, try and create something different. And some people today, it's even just about getting views on YouTube, right? So, it's doing something to gain that extra for their YouTube channel. So, that's why I really think, we got to push that drone education factor. I don't think the government is going to control these fast enough, and I don't think they'll ever be able to control them completely because, if someone builds it in their basement and then flies it out, what are you going to do about that,
Yeah.
You could buy all the components online, you could put them together, just like anything else that could be dangerous,
Yeah.
So, obviously, the more people that are aware of it, it means there's more, actual citizens taking control of these issues, right? So if there's drones flying in dangerous areas, people are reporting them, they're getting them in there. I think DJI itself did a great step by actually GPS locating all their drones and controlling their fly zones, meaning they could say, hey, like when that drone hit the White House, right? It was a DJI drone, and DJI decided to program, okay, no drones are allowed to fly near the White House anymore.
Yeah.
So if you own a DJI drone, you can't even turn the engines on near the White House. You know?
Yeah.
And I currently own one myself. I live near an airport. I can't go higher than 100 feet near my house, or I won't fly any higher.
Yeah.
So I think, like, those regulations are important on the software side, and I think everyone should be on board with those regulations, because if not, I mean, we're going to have mayhem flying around in the skies. You know?
Yeah. No, exactly. That's sort of, that would be my concern, is having all of these things. I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which side of that missile you're on,
Yeah.
the drones are, a good thing or a bad thing, at least the large military predators and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's technology. Hopefully we will mature enough to, as a race, that we, are smart about how we use this technology. Otherwise, we start getting into the Arnold Schwarzenegger scenarios.
Yeah, exactly.
Our technology turning on us. So, all right. Hey, well, this is great. Where can people learn more?
Sorry?
Where can people learn more about Tiny Drone?
So they could go to teennydrones.com, which is teennydrones.com, teennydrones.com. They could go there. Like I said, we do have a whole about section. We have a whole training center. They can learn all about our drones there. Our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Instagram. So facebook.com/teennydrones, all our social medias. We're always keeping up to date with our clients and our users.
Okay.
And that's basically where you can learn a little bit more about our stuff. I mean,
all right, great. Now I get a complimentary one for doing this interview, right?
Yeah.
just kidding. What is
I'd love for you to have one in your hands. I mean, the most important for us is people getting them in their hands and realizing how indestructible they are and how much fun they can be.
So what do they? What's the cost? We didn't talk about that.
So right now they're going for $39.97 on our website.
Okay.
So that's the cost of the drone itself. And what's nice is all the accessories are relatively cheap. You could get 10 sets of propellers for $10. You could get, the whole crash kit, which is the body, the motors, the propellers, everything in one for $20. So you could rebuild your whole drone for $20, basically. We're trying to come in. We're teeny drones at teeny prices.
Okay, great, good.
And, we're trying to bring a good price point to a high-quality drone and, giving people the chance to actually become pilots.
Okay, super.
And what our goal is actually with this is, we're working on a project alongside with Teen Drones called BYO Drones, which is going to be build your own drone.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to actually, buy your components, buy your pieces, start off with the entry-level kit, and then upgrade basically from there.
Okay.
So for, let's say, someone who doesn't want to go out and spend $1,000 today, they can maybe spend $150 to start, and then over time they can keep adding modules, upgrading motors, changing the GPS function, whatever it may be. And for yourself as a pilot,
so I can put
that on there.
On it, right?
The kit that we're going to be selling, actually, you could mount 2 cameras. So you got one for your FPV and one for your GoPro. So as a pilot, you probably would love one of those because you wear a pair of goggles and feel like you're sitting in the pilot seat.
Oh, I would love that. Great. Okay. Well, look, thanks so much, Jason. I appreciate your taking the time, and lots of luck with the business.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right, have yourself a great day.
Thanks.
All right.